What do you get when you combine Street Fighter II with old school WWF but without actually having a license to use WWF characters? You get Saturday Night Slam Masters for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, developed and released by Capcom in 1993, or as it was called in Japan,
Muscle Bomber, the Body Explosion.
Well, okay, so this actually started off in the arcades and then was ported to the Genesis and Super Nintendo. Focusing on the Super Nintendo version, this looks like a wrestling game but feels an awful lot like Street Fighter II. That's totally not Hulk Hogan on the opening cutscene. You have a colorful cast of fighters, wrestlers, to choose from, such as Gunlock, El Stingray, or Biff Slamkovich. That's just awesome. And is that Hagar from Final Fight? Each one has their own strengths and weaknesses that you would expect based on size and speed. I have to applaud the look of this game, and it has those nice 16-bit graphics and sound you've come to expect from Capcom's Super Nintendo library. Someday I should do a video all about Capcom on the Super Nintendo. Anyway, every track isn't necessarily a winner, but most of the music is solid and certainly reminiscent of some of those memorable Street Fighter II tunes. I guess that should come as no surprise though, since the lead composer was Setsuo Yamamoto, who also put together the music for so many other great Capcom games like Mega Man X and of course Street Fighter II. Graphic-wise, the detailed sprites of these over-the-top colorful characters are well done and easy on the eyes. I also like the attention to detail that went into the overall aesthetic of the game. Little things, like the ring bounces a bit when guys jump up and down, and there's a camera guy lurking ringside, you've got laser light intros, and the excited crowd animations are as good as you could ask for with the Super Nintendo's capabilities. It certainly looks like a wrestling game should. Unfortunately, the similarities to wrestling end there as the game actually plays more like a fighting game. There are special moves, but honestly I had a hard time pulling most of them off, save for maybe tossing a guy off the ropes a few times. Most of your offense seems to come from punching and kicking, and wrestling matches have a way of being reduced to slap fests until your life bar is low enough to go for a pin. That's really the only thing that qualifies as a wrestling mechanic here. When your opponent's life bar gets down to 0, instead of just being declared the winner, you have to go in for a pinfall, so at least they got that right. Players also taunt each other before and after matches, and the taunts are funny but go by too fast to read for some reason. If you lose, you have the option to continue, but if you just let the timer run out, I guess your character just dies. Blah! The SNES version has 2 modes, singles matches where you fight your way through the circuit of fighters one-on-one, or a team battle royale mode where you team up with a partner, computer controlled or a friend, then battle your way through a circuit of other tag teams. This doesn't play like a traditional tag team match though, and instead everybody is legal and you all fight at once. If one person gets pinned, the match becomes 2-on-1 and continues in real time. This was actually my favorite way to play.
Pin! 1, 2,
as it can make for a frantic race to save your teammate at the last second if they're getting pinned. This game also supports multi-taps, so you could theoretically have up to 4 players playing against each other, and I think that's really where this game shines. The single-player mode is easy and frankly a little boring, but it would be an absolute blast with a multi-tap and having 4 friends rumbling against each other and talking smack in the team battle royale mode for hours on end. Unfortunately, there are no other wrestling modes like cage matches or ladder matches, although the Sega Genesis version has something called a death match. The ring is surrounded in barbed wire and you can only play against a human opponent for some reason. You can throw your opponent into the barbed wire and then it explodes. Haha, take that! Not sure why they left this off the SNES version, other than maybe Nintendo thought it was too violent? Players are still bloody sometimes on the character screens though. This was right around the same time Nintendo caved and let them release Mortal Kombat 2 uncensored in 1993, so who knows? Saturday Night Slam Masters tends to go for about $20 or so as a loose cartridge, and you could do a lot worse for that price. It's certainly not a perfect wrestling game or even a perfect fighting game, but when it lacks in gameplay, it makes up for it in graphics, sound, and humor, and the multiplayer mode is definitely worth the price of admission. Get a multi-tap, invite some friends over for a few beers, and have at it. What do you think? Did you play this one growing up, or maybe discover it recently? What are some of your other favorite 16-bit wrestling games? As always, thank you for watching, please don't text and drive, and I'll see you next time on Friday Night Arcade.